Hi, I'm Christy Wood. I'm the co-owner of LeMieux Gallerist. This is part 2 of videos I'm doing answering questions from NOCCA students, New Orleans Center of Creative Arts, Miss LeBlanc's level 3 professional practices, I think, yes, class. So let me jump right in. These are great questions. Again, I think I left off with this one. How did you align yourself with the gallery you currently work at? So I'll try to keep this as brief as possible. I started working for the gallery not long after college. I was in my early 20s, and I actually applied for the position as I think I was a salesperson or general gallery assistant at the time, and worked here, or have worked here now for going on 20 years. It will be 20 years in October. Yeah, so that's a really long time. Next question. So that's a good lead into how did you get into the professional art and gallery business? What were some obstacles you had to overcome? So it took a lot of time to find this job. It wasn't easy. There aren't a ton of art jobs out there. And as I already said, I've been doing it for a very long time. So as an art professional, it's not easy to find a position, but I think you should really look maybe at entry-level jobs, and know from my experience a lot of art-related fields work with their employees and promote internally. So that's kind of what happened in this case. I started out at entry-level position here. I had worked, or mostly actually volunteered at a few galleries and museums, internships when I was in college, and this was my first paying gig in an art business. So I think we shouldn't limit yourself to the kinds of positions you look at if you're trying to get into an art-related field. A lot of things that I found, I don't have a master's in art, I only have an undergraduate degree, was a lot of places did ask for a master's or a PhD, and I had at one time considered going back to school in arts administration, but even when I took this job I thought about that. But really I learned a lot of what I know from on-hands practice and just working in a gallery. Obstacles, I guess, yeah, not having the education required for some of the positions. That was super frustrating. I applied for a few jobs I thought I was very well qualified for, that they ended up giving to people with higher education, which is totally understandable. But yeah, that was probably the most frustrating part. So that's cute. How did you kickstart your career and start to become well-known? Were you planning on having such a well-known line of work? Well, thank you. I wouldn't say that I'm very well-known, but the gallery is fairly well-known. The gallery's been in business since the mid-'80s. I only took over 5 years ago, so I was really, I guess, lucky to get on board with a very well-established gallery on Julia Street back in 2000 when I started here. And yeah, I mean, I think the notoriety of the gallery has grown over the years, which is great. We have really amazing artists that we work with, and I think that helps to elevate us in the eyes of the art community in New Orleans. I always knew I wanted to work in the arts, either in a museum or a gallery. I wasn't exactly sure which or where I would land, but at this point I'm very thankful to be in a gallery. I guess it's kind of a well-known line of work, but yeah. Let's see, what were you looking for in a career then and now? So again, when I graduated from college, I knew I wanted to work in the visual arts. I wasn't entirely sure if that would be in a museum setting or a gallery setting. And I'm very thankful for the opportunity that came up and the position that I applied for here. That led me to where I am now. I started out, again, entry-level sales and general kind of administrative duties at the gallery, and over time did a little bit more and a little bit more, was able to start curating exhibitions, which was one of my main goals to do, and then eventually got promoted to the director of the gallery. So, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, did I always want to be a gallery owner? Perhaps. Did I think it was going to happen? Maybe. But I feel really fortunate that I was able to make that happen. So it was a lot of things, including being here for a very long time, working very closely with the previous owner of the gallery, and when she was ready to retire, being able to take over. Let's see, I think there was a really good question about being a mentor, so I'm actually going to skip to that real quick. Who did you get mentorship from in all of this? Who did you get mentorship from, if at all? So my mentor was the previous owner of the gallery. Her name was, or is, Denise Berthume. She still lives here in New Orleans and is active in the arts community. She was an amazing mentor. I pretty much learned everything I know from working in a gallery from under her for 15 years. She taught me everything, basically, because she did everything at the gallery. So I am grateful for her, and grateful that I was able to take over such a wonderful, beautiful, well-established gallery from her. I'll go back to the question before that. Was it difficult being a woman in the gallery field, or is it difficult? I'd say so. There are quite a few female gallery owners, especially here in New Orleans. Something that came up a lot when we first took over was people asking if there's a man working here, or if my husband worked here, or things like that, which are kind of, I mean, a man working here isn't necessarily a ridiculous thing, but just assuming that because I am a woman I can't do certain things is ridiculous. So yeah, there definitely is some bias and sexism in the art field. You can tell that by major exhibitions that female artists are underrepresented in art collections all over the world. Thankfully there are some institutions trying to rectify that, but I think it goes with being in positions in art fields as well. There are fewer directors and owners overall that are women out there. So I hope that a lot of you are interested in getting in the arts and pursuing a career, both male and female, and making a difference. If you're a woman in the arts, or if you're a man in the arts, promoting women in the arts, either visual artists or as co-workers, it's important. Let's see. What are your expectations? Well, my expectations these days change daily. So, I don't know, that's such a huge question. I really enjoy working here. I expect people to love the art as much as I do. They don't always. Art is such a subjective thing, and I understand that, but we feel such passion for the artist we show. We hope and expect others that come through the doors do as well. And I hope and expect to do this for a long time and to keep this gallery going. Even in these uncertain times, we're doing our best for our employees and our wonderful roster of artists that we work with. How much money is too much? So this is an excellent question, and also a very loaded question. I will say that we work with mostly living artists, so we don't have any inventory in our gallery that is over. We do work with one estate, so I'd say the most expensive piece in the gallery is $40,000, or somewhere around that. But I think that I can't really answer that question there is a really good documentary I would recommend you watch called The Price of Everything that explores the idea of art and our consumer culture. That's really good. You should definitely watch that if that was your question, or you should all watch that. Who is my market? My market is mainly visitors to New Orleans, which makes what's going on right now particularly difficult. We do have some wonderful collectors here in the city, but being a small city, there is only a small pool of collectors. We have a pretty great group of collectors that we've worked with over the years, that I've worked with some of them for going on 20 years, who have been very supportive of us and our vision for the gallery. And oh no, sorry about that, my battery's dying. And something that was important for me when we took over was to expand our collector base into younger collectors. So that's one of the reasons why we started the Petite LeMieux, which is, I think I mentioned before, our room of smaller works that are more accessible. How much money does it take to run a gallery? Well, it is like any business. You will need to have a startup funds to be able to run the gallery, and kind of expect not to make a profit for a little while. So it helps to definitely have some sort of loan or investment to start your gallery. For us, it was a little bit different because we took on an already existing gallery, which was definitely helpful because the name recognition was already there. So it's a little bit different starting from the ground up, but you could start looking into costs of retail space and other expenses, and I could elaborate on this for a while, but really if you want any more in detail answers to this, please feel free to email me and I'm happy to talk more about that. What's the most difficult part of running a gallery? The most difficult part of running a gallery, I don't know. I mean, I love owning a gallery. I guess there is always disappointment, you know, things that you love and work that you expect people to love doesn't always work that way. People don't always love what you love. I mean, I think that I have a good eye for art. You certainly can't take it personally, but you kind of have to put yourself out there and the work that you believe in out there, and know that there are others that people that will respond to it and hopefully take it home with them. So difficulty, I mean, in running any business, it's your life. It's a lot. You have to kind of set time aside when you're not working, but really you're kind of working all the time, which is fine. Like I said, I love my gallery and I love art and being around beautiful art. So it's not always an easy thing, but overall it's a good thing. And finally, what is the most challenging aspect of working with other artists and how do you cope with it? Well, this is actually something that goes back to the original video that I meant to say. Working with artists, it's like working with anybody. There are different personalities and that can be challenging. So as an artist, which I assume most of you are, when you go to seek a gallery, it's a two-way street. So you really should you're not just looking for a gallery that's going to accept you and your work. You're looking for a gallery that's a good fit for you personally, that you feel that you can have a good relationship and grow with. So I advise going out and visiting the galleries and talking to the directors and looking and seeing the kind of art that they show and finding if they're a good fit for you as well if you're a good fit for them, because it goes both ways. But challenging working with artists, it's like personalities. I love my artists, but we're a family, so you don't always agree, but you work together, and I think the artists I show, we work well together. You kind of figure things out, and I don't know what's the most challenging part. I don't know, telling an artist that you don't want to hang something. I guess that's particularly challenging. You might not always see eye to eye, and that is difficult. But you know, you form relationships, and like any good relationship, you work things out, and there's a balance there. So yeah. I hope I answered all your questions. If I didn't, I'm more than happy to do a follow-up if you guys have any additional questions or want me to go in depth anything that I just kind of touched on, because I'm trying to keep this short. So please send along those follow-ups. Thank you. These questions are amazing. Kudos, Ms. LeBlanc. Kudos, NOCCA. You guys are impressive bunch, even though I've never met you, but these questions are really good questions. So thanks for watching, and again, if you want me to do another one, I'm more than happy to. I'm just sitting in the gallery by myself, so why not? Take care. Thanks. Bye.